That's ridiculous. I don't understand the peoples sometimes.
What else is going on? What about you tell me about the ABC thing.
Okay, so
because I don't know a lot about that. I do know
a lot about Project Veritas. Have you heard about them?
So
familiar.
I am familiar, but I think some of their stuff is definitely biased. It's obviously biased, but I do know who they are, and I do think they've done some good.
Okay.
And dude, I know that one of the guys went to his island, Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Really?
Yeah.
And kind of infiltrated, or was just going for?
He just went there. It was recently. He went there and he had like all this footage of the stuff on the island, like weird statues and like cool, like this one building. It's really weird. It's like a building. I didn't watch the whole video, but there was no way to get into it that he could see.
Oh wow.
But it looks like there should be a way in. It's weird. I don't know.
That's creepy as shit.
Yeah.
Probably like underneath,
Maybe.
Or there's a panel or something. You got to put your penis next to it.
You have to put the hand of a 14-year-old girl. Or no, I'm sorry.
God.
Present minor.
But they did do some good. This go around, they leaked the ABC footage exposes Epstein cover-up. I mean, this lady just spilled the beans on everything.
What'd she say?
So basically, hold on.
I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
The creepy thing is that we would make access to all of this.
Jesus. Wow.
All that information. I was like, they're stating that in the new apology ABC released that there wasn't enough evidence. It didn't meet their standards of journalism to release that.
Here's the thing, right? I could see them not coming out the story, even though it's fucked up. But if so many people had this much, whether or not you think it's evidence of something,
right?
Had this much, how was nothing being done sooner about this from just like a federal government? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why wasn't something being done about this?
That's the scariest part.
Prosecutorially, I mean,
yeah.
Well, I guess there was. I guess they tried to get him before,
right?
And then let him off with like nothing.
Yeah, he's like here's $1 million, here's a couple million.
Right, it's some cash.
Worry about it.
Dude, Jesus.
Yeah, that's really the scariest part about it. Who's not letting that information out? Who's getting paid off to let that information stay underneath? And
yeah, I heard. Speaking of that, wasn't there? Because I didn't watch it. I didn't see this, but I did hear that there was a journalist that they had found. That part of, I don't know, Tim Pool was talking about something about evidence that a journalist was paid off. Like some actual statement showing that he had received some cash or some like...
I wouldn't put it
And then after it happened, he quashed the story. I don't know, man. It's just like...
I'm sure. And...
I don't believe in conspiracies. I don't like to go that route.
Well, it's not a conspiracy.
But it's not...
It's... what part of this story is a conspiracy? You know what I mean? Like, okay, his death.
Well, not
that's
even
definitely probably the biggest part I would call a conspiracy,
Right.
just because it's just so.
I shouldn't say conspiracies. I don't even like to believe that there's that big. I don't like to think that, like, I guess I'm naive though. I don't like to think that things like this actually happen. But it's obvious.
Well,
that,
obviously, I mean, who wants to?
That's crazy though.
And you know what's the worst part about it? Alex Jones was right this whole time.
What do you mean?
This entire time. He came out with this shit 10 years ago. 10 years ago, he was talking about Epstein and his fucking private island.
Before even his first?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the scariest part about it. And they shut him down. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, he spouts a lot of shit, too.
Well, the Sandy Hook thing,
Yeah.
I mean, that caused a lot of fucking problems.
Yeah.
And that's understandable.
It's not just that, though.
Understandable.
He spouts a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Right.
But that's not... He spouts a lot of crap, too.
Yeah. And... God. Sound like an old man. But, yeah, that's just fucked up shit. It was just... And they're protecting these fucking assholes while minors are, just getting preyed upon.
That's what I don't understand. That's why I don't... Like, when I said I don't like to think about it, I didn't mean that, like, I like to bury my head in the sand. What I meant was I don't even like... It just seems odd that it could happen. Like, remember when we had a discussion about... up in the upper echelons of, like, and are there these pedophile rings?
Right.
Well, now we know that there are, but it's like, and I said at the time, I was like, I just don't see, because so many people would know about it, and so many people find that sort of thing abhorrent, and so many people have children, and they look at their kids and they think, thinking about them being abused, and it just makes them sick, and then you'd think that so many people would talk and would turn in and would work with the government. So how does this happen? Like, how does this happen?
A lot of undercover...
Is money and influence
blackmail
that powerful?
Shit, it is.
Is it?
Imagine you're just, you've made your millions the right way. You've come up a long way, and you're introduced to this party, and everything's, is just kind of sway, and everything's, it's just like, hey, I'm living the life now. One thing leads to another. Now you're... you have with some prostitute you think is probably legit. You know what I mean? A couple days later goes by and you get this email, I need this much money.
Oh, you're talking about blackmailing people. Right.
I mean, maybe some of these guys are actually good, honest people, that just got fucked.
I could imagine there was some blackmail.
I mean, shit, that's what he did for a living. I'm surprised he wasn't dead earlier.
Well, I don't know if, but we don't have evidence of that, though.
Right.
We don't have evidence of that. Did he strictly blackmail people?
Right.
Like, it seems like it could have been... I think it was a mixture of both, maybe.
I'm sure there's a lot of fucking perverts out there who got their jollies off.
But I just don't think
doing
there's enough to have, like, this crazy ring that's just focused on just getting kids and, like...
Right.
You're right. I think there's... Yeah, blackmail seems more likely, yeah.
I mean, because, I have 3 girls, and to think every day that something, I was like, nobody gets kidnapped here in Bartlesville. And then I start thinking about all the times I go through Walmart or some stores and I see pictures, missing kids. And I never think about it like that. And then I remember one time when we lived on Armstrong, Reba was like, I had to run from this white van because it kept following me around this block. She's like, and I made sure, I went around the same block and it followed me the whole way around. She's like, and then I ran down this alley. When it stopped and they tried to talk to me, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, what did it look like? Where are we going?
Yeah, exactly.
I was on the hunt. And I was like, in my head, I was like, well, maybe she made it up, I don't know. It's just kind of
Better
weird.
to believe it.
Right. It's like, who would do this in broad daylight? You know
Dude,
what I mean?
Fucking a rapist.
A rapist, yeah. Somebody who can't help themselves. And
that's exactly how a lot of the girls. In fact, I just watched a documentary where that was this guy's MO. Broad daylight van. He would find girls and mainly girls that were just like either waiting for rides or walking to and from somewhere, and that's at broad daylight. That's it. And he like 9 murders, something like that.
Oh man, I have those sickening thoughts every other day. It was like, what if this happened to my kid, or what if this happened to my kid? I always think, would I do the right thing and let justice, if I caught the person, would I let justice, do its thing, or would I go to prison for a moment of release?
Yeah, I don't know.
Vengeance or whatnot.
I think obviously the best thing to do and the right thing to do would be to let justice. And but besides that, if justice were being done, I told my sister one time a long time ago, I was like, if something ever happened to you, I was like, what would you want me to do? I was like, would you want me to kill that person if I saw that justice wasn't being done? And she was like, yeah.
Right?
And I was like, okay.
Okay.
I was like, I'll go to prison for that.
Right? Well, I mean, your family, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine, not only, okay, so your sister, closest person, you know, one of the closest people to you and your family. And then if, you know, your own flesh and blood, if something were to happen to them, you know, and they can't obviously kill him, daddy, you know. You know what I mean? Like, they're never going to get over something like this.
Yeah.
And this asshole, you know, will probably get fucking released, you know, within 10 years or something, you know.
Right.
I was like, I'm not going to wait that long.
Well, this is more of like a situation if she was murdered or something.
Oh, murdered. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she survived, I don't know. I guess she could still ask me to kill him. I guess I don't know.
I know. I was like, it
might-
depends. The moment.
I might be like, hey, he got 10 years. Do you really want me to kill him? Do I have to?
I mean, like if somehow I had gotten somebody, you know, under citizen's arrest or whatever, and called the cops, you know, there'd be that pause and be like, who's to say he didn't try to kill me? And I'm just
Right.
defending myself.
Right.
You know, cops pull up and I'm like, how did his head get off of his body? Like he struggled.
I was just trying to subdue him.
Like you are covered from head to toe in blood.